Should I just introduce myself now?
Yeah, do it. Fuck me off with it.
Hi, I am Ed, or Edwin, and I met this loser over here through a YouTube comment section because he left his fucking Discord just sitting there.
Yeah.
And and I guess you just bonded with this random asshole on the internet, and it kind of just worked out. So yeah, here I am. I am a big loser that streams a lot of JRPGs and shit. At the moment, I'm doing a lot of Megami Tensei, so that's kind of why I'm here. Because I did Persona 5 back in... I don't know, I had to delete the entire thing because Atlas struck my channel.
No way! I was just about to ask, like, how bad did Atlas fuck you?
Actually, they didn't get a single part of the playthrough. They got
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like a 2-minute video of Yoshitsune because there was like 3 frames of Santa Island while I was flicking through Personas. And they lifted that strike too. They just got rid of it. So we're here to talk about good old Persona 5 from our two perspectives here. Mine being, I feel like it had a strong start, but overall was fairly disappointing. And you're satisfied.
That's a very exciting and controversial opinion.
Oh boy, I can't wait to get shit on.
See, I am of a different mindset. I am perfectly satisfied with Persona 5, other than, like, occasional gripes and, like, one part of the game where I was actually just mad at it.
Was that the space station? Because that's where I started breaking down.
It's within that sort of area.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's start with the very first issue. Like, I have a list I have a list of my issues with the game. Because I'm much better at talking about things I like on the fly, but things I dislike I have to, like, formulate. So my first issue was way back at the start of the game. I think it was the cuts, like, immediately after the cutscene where An is picked up by Kamoshida, and it's got a very... oh shit.
That was hot. It's staying in.
Oh no, please. Please no. I think it was somewhere near immediately after that, where I believe the tone of the scene is something along the lines of, who the fuck was that pedo, blah 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 blah, and then it just flash forwards up to Sei Nijima in the interrogation room, and I just felt like I'm shy to use the word tone because of the Persona 4 arguments that come from that word, but it clashed.
Tone is a scary word. The word I hate is atmosphere.
Oh, Jesus. Like, okay, if I may get my feelings on Persona 4. I don't care if the game is happy, I don't care if the game is sad, I just wanted to keep 1 and roll with it, and that was my issue with 4. But right, I feel like the kind of hectic feeling of the scene prior just suddenly screeching to a halt for this more anxious interrogation room scene. They did this multiple times, like especially during the social link starts, and it just felt like screeching.
Excuse me, they're called confidants. Thank you.
God fucking damn. You get what I mean? Like, it just screeches screeches the motion to a halt.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, so you did so-and-so with so-and-so, and you had, I don't know, a fucking gun dealer, this chick who could use astrology to help you. Yeah, I just feel that was really one of my big issues with how the story was told. Like, it's a very interesting idea, and I like it, but I felt like it could have been executed better. That goes to say with a lot of my issues with Persona 5. It was a good idea that could have been done better.
See, I am of two mindsets when it comes to the whole interrogation room thing. I think it works fantastically to build up, like, suspense.
Oh, yeah. Like, it...
Because it's like a constant, how did I get into this shitty of a situation?
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like as I said, it could have been executed better, but as a concept, I love it.
And I like how it starts at the beginning of Social Links, or Confidants, shut up, Fither, at the beginning of Confidants, is because, to me, it makes it feel like the Confidants are more an integral role in, like, who the Phantom Thieves are and what they do.
In your horrible, shitty situation. Yeah, that's fair, I can see that.
So it's cool having Sei Nijima be like, you clearly must have known how to use guns. Like, who taught you how to use guns? And then it flashes back to this small child wearing a Get Smoked tag. And so, it's just funny thinking that, like, all these people have such a big impact to the point where Sei Nijima knows they exist, but not who they are. And so I think that's kind of cool.
All I can imagine, like, in a bad ending where it's like, alright, Tim, to arrest this fucking child for conspiring with the Phantom Thieves. You're going to juvie, kiddo.
So I think that's cool, but I do agree that sometimes it's a bit jarring to go from, like, I've gotten my ass beaten and I'm full of drugs to, like, I'm making a new friend.
I'm hanging out with An, and she's telling me all about how she wants to have a stronger heart in a fucking dining room. Like, so I heard you were hanging out with this skanky hoe bag. Let's see. Should I go on to my next bullet point then? Or...
one more thing about the interrogation room stuff is that I definitely think it loses a lot, if not all of that value on repeat playthroughs.
Oh god, yeah.
Because
when I was...
you already know what the situation is, right?
Yeah. What my New Game Plus run, honestly, I just had the entire thing on fast forward, beginning to end.
Because then it's no longer like a cool suspense building thing that like ties together all the confidants and shit. Now it's just like annoying. Because it's constantly flash forwarding to something that you are already very well aware of what happened.
Yeah. So this is just something that irked the shit out of me, but it's probably because I've watched too much anime and I hate villains having a monologue when they can literally just kill the character. So on the cruise ship, in fact, after you beat Goro's ass and Cognitive Goro shows up, and he just has a gun to the side of Goro's head for what feels like a solid 20 minutes, and then Goro somehow just kick flips his way out of that situation like a fucking nerd. I've redeemed myself. I saved the day by killing myself. See you in the spin-offs. And I hear I have in green text actually attempting to redeem Goro Akechi.
Mm-hmm. They tried it.
They tried. I don't understand how they expect us to actually feel for an actual massive psychopath.
Yeah, I've already done a video about how Goro is my favorite character. Like, I genuinely mean that. Goro is my favorite character. Because he's the grandest mess of not making any sense and being just the biggest load of gay bait. He's bigger gay bait than Yusuke.
Oh, yeah. Fucking Fujoshi bait to the nth degree.
And he's like Adachi Jr. And Adachi is like my favorite Persona 4 character.
Is, like, I love Adachi. Adachi was like one of the few consistently good things from Persona 4. Should I define Fujoshi? Because that's like, I didn't know what a Fujoshi was until my friend told me.
Give us a quick rundown. I'm pretty sure most people know what it is.
Okay. Fujoshi is basically just a straight woman who gets off on gay dudes banging. Yeah. That's the long and short of it. Mm-hmm. So let's see. I still can't get over how he somehow got that trick shot at without getting his brains blown out. He kind of just animate his way out of there.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever. I don't really care. At this point, I didn't care. I'm like, cool, Goro.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else to say on this topic before I go on to my next little bullet point?
Dude, I could talk about Goro for like 5 hours. He's my favorite character.
We should save that to the end for my little let's discuss Goro.
Alright, cool. But Goro's my favorite character to talk about. Every Persona game has like that one character
I just want to talk about for various reasons.
That you just want to talk about like endlessly.
Goro's a fucking train wreck, and that's kind of why I enjoy it, because he's kind of just fun to laugh at, because at the same time he's a whiny bitch boy, and like an actual raging psychopath.
Yeah, I went through like a character development myself, where I was like, I went from genuinely hating Goro because you think his reasoning is just like he wants to stop the Phantom Thieves. Mm-hmm. And that's stupid in its own right. But then you figure out he's actually just insane. And then it becomes funny.
So let's see. This little bullet point is cheap emotional gut punches. This is just a general bit of an issue here. So towards the very tail end of the game, for those of you who didn't play and are listening to this anyways because you're fucking madmen, Morgana dies in 400 shitzillion quotation marks right at the very end of the game, and then she kind of just I always make that mistake.
Morgana's the dude.
Yeah, I always forget. And he kind of just walks in at the ending scene like, yo, it's like, wait, I've been alive this entire time. They're like, but why didn't you show up? I wanted to be fashionably late. And by that I mean the writers got lazy and wanted to shove in an endgame reunion scene.
Yeah, they do it twice, though, is the fucked up thing.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, then there's another similar situation where you're coming back from, what was it? I think it might have been the cruise, maybe?
Yeah, it was at the end of the cruise.
Yeah, where you go in and LeBlanc is absolutely fucking trashed, and like, absolutely trashed, and you're like, oh no, what did they do to Sojiro? They were threatening him, and he's like, nah, I'm Gucci, what's up?
Yeah, I'm fine. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and this one, like, I remember when this moment happened on stream, me and the chat just sat there cackling. that Ryuji just survived getting blown the fuck up at the end of the cruise ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
totally fine. Not even harmed.
I was propelled by the explosion out of the like that's the theory. I was like, then where are all the third-degree burns and broken bones and shards of glass lodged in your flesh?
Yeah. Like, I don't have a problem with them doing it once. When you do it twice,
yeah, it's a little on the nose.
Mm-hmm. Like if it was either Ryuji or Morgana, then it would be like, all right, fine, whatever.
But they did it.
But they do it twice.
They did it on 3 occasions. My mistake.
Yeah.
With, Sojiro, Ryuji, and Morgana.
I don't really mind the Sojiro one as much because
that one was just funny.
Yeah, there's not the same sort of like impending danger, I guess, of like, oh no, we lost the loved one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. Futaba's social link going from 0 to 100 out of fucking nowhere with a sudden child molestation sub-arc.
I did not actually finish her, so why don't you lay it on me? You're complaining about it.
Oh, jeez. So I think like 5 or 6 days, she's like, oh, I want to reach out to a friend of mine from grade school, and one day she dropped her diary and was full of her talking about how her parents molested her and sold pictures of her in lewd positions to like old creepy pedos for money.
Whoa, okay, interesting.
I believe that quest was actually called the Daughters a Meal Ticket or something.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. I can understand this with Aunt, because it was at least somewhat foreshadowed, because it's a pedo picking her up in his fucking Camry or whatever. But then she's like, oh, by the way, my friend was brutally molested in elementary school, and probably is still getting molested.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
And I kind of just sat there for a moment. I believe one of my mods just said, I have more investment in this character than the entirety of Futaba.
Holy shit.
Like, not to say that the game shouldn't tackle serious shit, but, like, they kind of just dumped that on your lap and expected you to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
That's why Kamoshida works out so fantastically, is because,
my favorite.
He's built up in the most magnificent way. Like, first of all, he's just kind of an asshole who, Ryuji doesn't really like. Mm-hmm. And then towards the end of it, he's molested a girl to the point where she tries to kill herself. Mm-hmm. Like, wow. And it's handled in a very natural way.
Yeah, like that. Honestly, like, the first palace is probably the part of the game that grabbed me the most, by far.
Yeah.
And a little detail here that I just loved, that they only did, like, once or twice for the rest of the game, but it wasn't nearly as effective. While he was transforming into his shadow self, the what's the song called? Blooming Villain or whatever?
Yeah.
Just started playing and hyping up the fight. It was perfect for me.
Yeah. My favorite, this was like, holy shit, is when Life Will Change plays.
Yeah.
Like, when you're about to steal, that was like the hypest fucking part of the whole game.
Yeah, that was great. Life Will Change.
Because I had heard this song, but I didn't know like what it was applied to.
Yeah. Let's see, here we go. Haru becoming a phantom thief off camera, awakening to her persona off camera, then awakening to her full power, kind of, on camera. Literally just out of nowhere in the middle of that, what was it, the Execubot or whatever, her fiancé shadow.
Yeah, her fiancé shadow, yeah.
Yeah, like, this was roughly the point where the game started to lose me. Because at this point, it just started feeling kind of rushed. Like, they didn't want to spend as much time on Haru, I feel. Like, when thinking back on the Persona 5 cast, I actually forgot Haru existed.
I think Haru and Goro are the most interesting characters from, like, thinking about it from a development standpoint, like, outside looking in. Because Haru's very fascinating, for a couple of reasons.
How so?
Well, first of all, she's the last party member you get that's not Goro.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all of them, she's just the one that sticks out and feels not out of place, but kind of tacked on there.
Felt like she was a little bit too pure for this world.
Well, she does have like murder tendencies.
Yeah,
against shadows.
I never got the sadism dialogue, but I know about it. So that's my story gripes over and done with. Let's see, on to the character section. Now, how many Megami Tensei games have we played? Because this is like very much I've dedicated this year to playing Atlas games, and I've kind of noticed this trend.
Let me think. This is... Okay, so SMT1, 3, 4, 4 Apocalypse, both of the Digital Devil sagas, both Devil Survivors, Strange Journey, like Persona 1, 3, 4, and 5, and think I'm missing some other thing.
Didn't you play some Soul Hackers?
I played a little bit of Soul Hackers. I want to finish Soul Hackers.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it in my 3DS, like right over there, but other shit always comes up.
The magic of a hacked 3DS, where I just played every DS Megami Tensei game in like 2 months, and now I just feel empty.
Yeah.
So let's see. Are we counting Catherine as a Megami Tensei game?
It's on that weird borderline.
Yeah,
where...
it's debatable. But let's see. Assuming we count Catherine, it would be Catherine. Okay, this is going to be a mouthful. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, sure, lay it on.
Alright, Catherine, Soul Hackers, Rhino 1, Rhino 2, Persona 1, Persona 2 Innocent Sin, Persona 3 Fez, Persona 3 Portable for a little bit, Persona 4 Vanilla, Persona 5 Devil Survivor 1, Devil Survivor 2, Persona Q, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, a little bit of Dancing All Night, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Strange Journey, Shin Megami Tensei 4, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, and the bonus stories in Persona 3 Fez, and Devil Survivor 2.
Yeah, I've played most of that, like, spin-off kind of shit, too.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, going into this, I feel like having taken in all these stories and characters, I've kind of slowly come to this conclusion that Atlus has 20 or so really unique character concepts that they just tweak and recycle in every game. Like, should I just go down a couple of these changes? I feel like if I go down every single one of them, it's going to get annoying.
Yeah, list a couple.
Let's see. Goro. So let's see. On the topic of detective character who's very good at their job and employs magical abilities, let's see. We have Goro, Naoto, Raido, and Todoroki from the Devil.
Don't forget my boyfriend Adachi.
Oh yeah, Adachi. I completely
he's that character as well.
I completely forgot to put Adachi on that. Very good point. Let's see. And going down. Okay, this is probably one of the better ones. On the topic of just bro dumb character who's a really good person but kind of a fucking idiot. Let's say we have Ryuji, Yosuke, Junpei. I cannot say his actual name, so I'll just say Michelle from Persona 2 Innocent Sin, which is like the... Ikichi. Okay, I can never get it to roll off my tongue. Ikichi, the goth kid. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure I'm still butchering it. And then there's Brown from Persona 1, who was just a fucking idiot. And there's also, kind of skanky female characters that kind of want to bone you, but not really. Or really want to bone you explicitly, like Rise. Mm-hmm. So let's see, there's An, Rise, Yukari, Lisa Silverman from Persona 2, and Ayase from Persona 1. So I'm just kind of noticing this general issue with Atlus's writing. Mm-hmm. And the more I play, the worse it gets. Because... Yeah, you know what I mean. You know the point I'm trying to get across here.
So I have two, not necessarily counterpoints, but like thoughts on this issue.
Go on.
My first theory is just that how do I put this? It's difficult to create a kind of character that has never been created before.
Which is very true.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, every personality trait you can ever think of has probably been applied to some character in some way. Mm-hmm. And it's just easier to have these, like, kind of sort of archetypes and making changes, like, I'm best bro character, I'm girl character, I'm shy girl character, I'm, like, kind of sort of gay guy character,
Yeah, that's fair. Although I feel like they could do a bit more to, not necessarily, make a completely new character, but I feel like they could try to differentiate them a little bit more,
Yeah. Like, I feel as though they're different enough to the point where... Like, if you list about 3 or 4 character traits, then I'll probably be able to identify who they are. Mm-hmm. My theory, is that it's intentional. Because many of the times, the characters that are similar are part of the same arcana. Like, pretty much all the girls you mentioned
got me there.
were all the lovers, right? So that's another part of, like, the theory, I guess, is that it's intentional.
Yeah, that's fair. You got me there.
Like, the magician guy, with the exception of Morgana, for the past, has been dude guy. Like, dude bro friend. And then Ryuji is, Chariot. Ryuji's Chariot?
Yeah, looking at the bro character, it is Chariot, Magician. I think Ikichi was dead?
Yeah, he's death. I actually thought he was Emperor for the longest.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think Emperor is Tetsuya's secondary. You kind of got me by the balls there, but I feel like my point still has some...
I agree.
I make a point, I feel.
A lot, it's hard to tell if it's an intentional thing and they're smart for doing it,
or if it's actually, or if they're actually just running out of ideas.
Yeah, if they're actually lazy. Like, so many fucking times in my videos, especially with the Persona characters, I'll be comparing characters that have, like, nothing to do with each other, really. Like, Takemi and the nurse lady from Persona 4.
Yeah, who was kind of just, she kind of just wanted to give you a boner and then fuck off because she's a tease.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, they're not the same Arcana, but they're kind of in a similar sort of character vein, I guess, of, like, hot, older doctor, like, medical profession woman.
On to some, my general issues with how the game kind of railroads you for weeks on end. Because I feel like the haha go to sleep thing, that was funny for a while, and then it kind of, it started legitimately interfering.
It starts getting, like, actually annoying. And here's why, is because, this is, like, very deep and psychological.
Just wanted to make fucking lockpicks, man.
Yeah. It's an entity that is not your character commanding you to go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And that, on a human level, annoys us.
Yeah.
Like, in Persona 3 and 4, your guy would be like, I'm tired.
I'm tired as shit, I'm going to bed, fuck you, you, player. And
it usually made sense for why he was going to
sleep.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, here, it's like, oh, I just had a normal school day, it's like, I'm just gonna go straight home, and like, no, you're too tired to make lockpicks. And this is, a complaint that a friend of mine brought up while I was playing through it. I kind of put the idea in my head that attaching buffs to social links was a terrible idea, and my reasoning here is if you're a more gameplay-oriented character over story, you'll just completely ignore a social link that doesn't give you good buffs, is what I feel. Like, I believe, like, you did the Sun social link in Persona 3, correct?
Which one was he? He's that, like, sports
No,
guy.
he was the cancer patient guy.
Yeah, that guy's Star, yeah. I know that one.
So I believe the exact words were, you probably wouldn't have done Akinari if he gave you shit buffs or something like that, and I sat down for a second, like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean...
Like, again, it's the issue of, it's a good idea that could have been done better.
Part of the problem with it is that inevitably one character's buffs are going to be better than the other. Right?
Oh, exactly.
Like, Ouya's the big meme, because hers is borderline
worthless.
Useless. It's a cutesy idea.
It's only useful in New Game Plus when you're speedrunning palaces.
Like, it's a cutesy idea from a gameplay design perspective, like, oh, we have a mechanic where, the alert level goes up. Let's have a confidant that, has something to do with that.
But if it's your first...
But then when you play it, it's not helpful.
But if it's like your first playthrough, it's like, oh, I'm being sneaky, so it does literally nothing, but it's New Game Plus, like, I just want to get through this fucking space station. I want to beat up that loser in his Darth Vader chair. Like, you're just speeding through the hole, so it helps then, but in the first run, it's worthless.
Mm-hmm. And then you have, like, the opposite, where there are some characters that give such good buffs, like Hifumi, that you feel like an obligation to do them, because the reward she gives is just so amazing.
Oh yeah, like switching characters, you couldn't get through the game without that.
I mean, it's possible, but it makes it substantially easier. Yeah,
exactly.
So I can see where you're coming from that perspective, but like the other way of thinking about it is, don't be like a min-maxy fucking bitch.
Min-maxing is kind of what I do.
Yeah, I get it, but like,
I mean, there's being in it for story and being in it for gameplay. I've always been more firmly on the side of gameplay over story, although I still appreciate a good story, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like, Persona's a different beast.
Oh, it's much different.
Yeah.
Like, I still feel like the two that executed the story gameplay balance the best would probably be Innocent Sin and Strange Journey.
I think there's two arguments to this. Like, this problem is, first of all, yes, there are characters that factually do give better buffs and stuff. But also, like, stop trying to, like, min-max is the other argument. Like,
yeah. Like, what was his name? The politician. His name escapes me.
I just call him No Good Tor.
Yeah, that's what. I was thinking
Torinosuke.
I was thinking E Honda for some reason.
E Honda.
But right, I remember looking at his buffs on the wiki. I'm like, these aren't very useful in my playstyle, and I completely disregarded one of the better social links in the game, as I found out in New Game Plus.
Honestly, his ability is super helpful.
It wasn't really useful for the way I played, because I just made super bullshit personas and had them carry me for like 7 dungeons.
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about Persona, is that you can do the confidants on another playthrough or the social links.
Oh my god, it's so useful, because at the end of the game, it's like, oh, here, have this item that automatically gives you everything when you start the confidant. And I just sat there like, yes, thank you so much.
So, if you wish to be the ultimate min-maxer, then you can just keep doing New Game Plus over and over until you're a fucking god.
Basically.
And then you can also do all the confidants. As
much as I am like a disgusting Kaneko fanboy, what's his name? Sojima? I have to admit, I really do like the vast majority of his designs in this game.
Yeah. Sojima's my dude.
He is very good. And this is more of just a personal thing, but a lot of the music kind of blended together in my head after a while. But the tracks that stood out really stood out. Like, let's see, Layer Cake, EY Shop Theme, that might just be me. That might just be me being a filthy EY fanboy. Because I know his shop theme, it's Layer Cake, then there's, Rivers in the Desert, Last Surprise, Whims of Fate. Like, those are the songs that everybody knows.
I feel like a part of why that might be is because a lot of the soundtrack is just, like, alternate versions of other songs.
Yeah, a little bit. Although I do really like, I forgot the name of it. I forgot the names of a lot of tracks because it just blended together. What was the nighttime theme?
Is it Beneath the Mask?
Yeah, Beneath the Mask, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the Raining version of that song, but they're all pretty alright.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I think Persona 3 soundtrack still might be, like, my favorite.
Oh god. Persona 3's music, a lot of it, like, oh god, I fucking hate Mass Destruction so much, but it might just be like,
wow!
That's probably just how it got drilled into my head from all of the grinding I had to do in 3. Because as much...
I'll give it to Last Surprise, is that out of all of them, I think it's the one that, like, gets irritating the least.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me.
That's fair. It's
hey, you can only hear baby, 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 baby so many times
before I just mute my emulator.
Yeah, you're just gonna be like, okay, I don't want to hear this.
Oh my god. Persona 3's music, I enjoy it, although Persona 4's soundtrack is much more my style. I'm much more of a rock kind of person. Although I still love, like, Polonium Mall in 3, Battle for Everyone's Souls, that's a must. I adore it. Burn My Dread is great. But overall, like, top to bottom, I'd say 4's was probably one of my favorites. So let's see, some general discussion question. Do you feel the game lived up to its hype?
This, for me, yeah. I was satisfied with it. Like, I liked the characters. I liked the story more conceptually than I did what happens in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense. I love the art style. The graphics are great, and I like the soundtrack. So there's nothing about the game that I'm like, this is problematic or whatever. Mm-hmm. Not to sound like Tumblr.
Yeah.
But there's no part of it where I'm like, I dislike this. At worst, it's like, this doesn't make sense, or this is annoying.
Right. Now let's see, did the game live up to the hype in my eyes? Well, the short answer is no, as you can probably guess by my laundry list of minor gripes here. But I feel it grabbed me very, very well at the beginning, but it just petered out, I guess you could say, by the tail end of it. It started at the space station, as I said, it just progressively got worse.
Yeah, I think that's the part where, like, less because of the gameplay or whatever, but there's this one part, there's like this week or two stretch where you can't do any confidants.
Morgana's throwing a shit fit over Ryuji, right? That one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that, and I think there was, like, some other shit going on with, like, Haru.
From, like, the space station through to, I guess, probably the cruise. The cruise is probably when I hit my breaking point, and I was reaching maximum, like, I just want this to be over.
See, I was never in, like, I want this to be over kind of mood. I was more in just, like, a going through the motions.
Yeah.
Like, this is what has to be done, I guess, kind of mood.
Although, in fairness, to, like, kind of throw myself under the bus here, I did do the entire cruise ship in one, like, batshit 9-hour binge. I went into that saying, you know what, I kind of want to break my record for longest stream today, and I did, but I didn't like it. The tail end, I really enjoyed the idea of the deaths of mementos, actually. I thought that was a very interesting concept, but I feel...
See, I actually hear a lot of people, well, not a lot, but a couple of people are like, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm. I like it as an idea,
yeah,
but
go ahead and explain why.
Yaldabaoth kind of killed it for me. Because I feel like they could have taken it a very different direction, like the collective consciousness of people, not like some god trying to puppet it. but more just you could have played a lot on Japanese society and what they could have done instead of being like, oh, it's a god.
I think I've talked to Flair about this. We are under the opinion that the way the events that led to the creation of the depths of Mementos went something like this, right? So they came up with the idea for Mementos. And obviously Mementos has to have a bottom.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, alright, we'll figure it out.
Kind of like how Tartarus had its top.
Yeah. And then they came up with Shido, right? And then they were stuck in this situation where it's like,
how do we
okay,
game?
our Shido thing is done, but also what the fuck do we do about the bottom of Mementos? And then that led to the whole Yaldabaoth thing.
Yeah. Oh god, imagine how hard those people who didn't like turbo grind in Mementos got fucked at the end.
Yeah.
It's like that it's like the end game Tartarus dungeon where if you're not like level 70, you're doing every single encounter, and it just sucks.
Yeah. I think that's people's own fucking faults for not realizing this will obviously have a fucking bottom to it, so you might as well start clearing it now.
But in fairness, this was 5 was a lot of people's first personas. They probably don't know I guess, what would be a better word, heritage or pedigree? I'd say heritage, maybe.
Pedigree makes it sound like it's a dog.
Yeah.
So I'll go with heritage.
Yeah. Although I will say, and where it caught me back was how, ridiculously hype the fucking Veeder going up during the final boss was.
Yes.
Because that was good. I liked that. That was really good.
Yeah, the final boss is,
it was fun.
Fucking awesome.
Also, I love how the gun is literally just called the Gun of Execution.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts of the whole fight, is when he pulls out a gun.
He just pulls out,
enough.
But like I said, my key word here, for lack of a better term, with Persona 5 is a lot of good ideas, but could have used better execution.
I agree. A lot of it, it's hard to sit there and, ever justify they didn't have enough time.
Yeah, because they were working on it for, 9 years? So,
little stuff like how odd Haru is I should do, a video just about Haru.
She kind of just appears, and it's odd. They foreshadow her once, at, you can kind of track the part where they just dropped the script. It was we're setting up Haru as a much more important later game character, and then she kind of just appears.
Yeah, she's kind of a victim of, where the story was at that point, I guess, because she's pushed to the side so quick.
Oh, yeah.
I think earlier you asked me if Persona 5 lived up to the hype, and I gave, a half answer.
Yeah.
For me, it did, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't have any problems with it, but I think part of, the problem of people that are, Persona 5 sucked, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It had
Sometimes
a lot of issues, but it wasn't a complete and utter, failure. It had a lot of issues, but it's not a complete disaster, but it is far, far, far from perfect.
Yeah. I don't quite want to put it in my top 10 games quite yet. I want to kind of let it simmer. But as of right now, I think it's within that territory.
Mm-hmm.
But, people sometimes, they either hype it up too much to the point where there's no conceivable way it'll live up to your own expectations, or they, internally never really give it a chance, or they expect it to be something that it wouldn't ever be.
Right.
And then they're, disheartened when it's not that.
Yeah. That's right. Is it time for me to sign off and do my big dumb shill?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Ed, or Edwin, and I stream a lot of video games, mostly JRPGs, but I'm taking a short break, and I'm dedicating, hopefully, this entire year to playing games of the Megami Tensei franchise. Next up on the list is Eternal Punishment, so if you're into that, well, I'm your guy, I guess.
Yeah, go check him out.
Thanks.
Links in the description.
Hooray.
Alright, cool. Make sure to give us your exciting thoughts on Persona 5 in the comments. Don't say anything retarded, though.